Hello everybody, it is Michael here. I hope you are all okay. I am speaking to you from England, and today we are going to be doing a lesson about school in England. Before we start, two things. Number one, you need a pen and a piece of paper. You need something to write with. So if you do not have them with you, pause the video and find a pen and some paper. The second thing, you can see at the bottom of the screen my email address. 10504padfield@gmail.com. I have written my email address in case you have any questions. If you have any questions, please write to me. So we have talked a little bit about school in England, but today we are going to look at school in England in more detail. So to start with, we have primary school. So you go to primary school between the ages of 4 and 11. You start primary school when you are 4 years old, and you finish primary school when you are 11. On the right of the screen, you can see some vocabulary associated with primary school. Vocabulary associated with primary school. To start off with, we have the head teacher. The head teacher, who is the most important person in the school, who organises everything. This is the head teacher. Next, we have the playground. The playground. You can see a picture of the playground in the bottom left of the screen. We have the verb to sign, okay? To sign. We have the noun school uniform, and then the word classroom, classroom. Okay. So, I am going to talk about the pictures that you can see on the screen. To start with, in the top left picture, you can see 2 teachers and 4 students. The 4 students are wearing a green school uniform. So every school in England has a school uniform. This is a big difference between English schools and Italian schools. In fact, the picture on the left is from the school where my mum works. My mother, is a teacher at a primary school. To the right, you can see a picture of a classroom. In this classroom, there is a teacher and there is a class full of students who are wearing a red school uniform. So each school uniform is different for every school. Some are green, some are blue, some are red. They are always different. In the bottom left, you can see the picture of the playground, where children go to play. They play during break. They run around, they play football, they play lots and lots of different games. In the bottom right, you can see a girl and a boy. The girl and the boy are wearing t-shirts. And on the t-shirts, you can see there are lots of names written. Lots of names on the t-shirt. Here we use the verb to sign, okay? On the last day of primary school in England, it is tradition to sign the t-shirt of your friends, okay? To create a memory of your school, okay? So you sign the shirts to create a memory. So all of your classmates sign each other's shirts. So next, I want to know how many school subjects you can name in 3 minutes. So subjects at school, for example, maths or English, how many can you name in 3 minutes? Write a list, so use your pen, write a list of as many subjects as you can name in 3 minutes. Ready? Go. Okay, I think that's about 3 minutes. So let's see my list and then compare it to your list. So, school subjects: English, French, German, Spanish, maths, biology, chemistry, art, music, drama, physics, history, geography, ecology, history, philosophy, government and politics, PE, RE, okay? PE, physical education, RE, religious education, okay? If there are any of those which you did not write, write them down now, okay? Write them down, increase your vocabulary of school subjects. Also, if there are any subjects which I did not think of, tell me, okay? So, English, French, German, Spanish, so languages, maths, biology, etc., etc. So, school subjects. Now I'm going to talk to you about secondary school. Secondary school comes after primary school. You go to secondary school between the ages of 11 and 16. So you start secondary school at 11 years old and you leave at 16. On the right, again, we have some important vocabulary. We start off with the word GCSEs. GCSEs is an acronym which means General Certificate of Secondary Education. This is the exam that you do at the end of secondary school. At the end of secondary school, everyone in the country does GCSEs. They do these exams. Another important word is the word blazer. Blazer. And you can see lots of blazers in the pictures. These are the jackets that you wear to school as part of your school uniform. We also have the word tie, a tie, another essential part of a school uniform. Next we have the words sir and miss. Sir and miss. If you are at school and you want to talk to a teacher, you have to call them sir if it is a man or miss if it is a woman. I hear in Italy you say prof, but in England you have to be very respectful to the teachers and you have to say sir if it is a man or miss if it is a woman. Next we have three types of schools. We have state schools, grammar schools and private schools. Remember, state schools are secondary schools where you do not pay for your education and you do not do a test to go there. There is no entrance exam. A grammar school is where you do not pay for your education, you do not give them money, but you do have to do a test, you have to do an exam to go there. And a private school is a school where you pay for your education, okay? And these payments are called fees, okay? School fees. So what you pay to the school to be able to go there. So looking at the pictures, these pictures are of me and my friends. So on the left, there is a good example of my school's uniform. You can see our blue blazer that we had to wear, the ties that we had to wear, the white shirts that we had to wear. So there's a picture of my friends who I walked to school with in the top left. In the bottom left, that is my history class. My history class. In the top right, these are my friends. We used to play football in the park after school. It was a very rainy day when this picture was taken. And in the bottom right, you can see me and my brother a very long time ago. And this is our cricket uniform, okay? Remember, for cricket, you wear white clothes and then we wore our blazer over our cricket uniform when we had to travel to the matches, okay? So it is our cricket uniform in the bottom right. The main thing about secondary school in England is that you have a lot of choice. And you choose which exams you will take. You choose the GCSEs you will take when you are about 14 years old. So you do not decide your exams until a long time. And you can choose any exam that you want. Some exams are obligatory, they are compulsory. It is obligatory to do maths, to do English, to do science. However, the other subjects you can choose, okay? From what I have seen in Italy, you stay in the same class for most lessons and you decide at a very early age, you decide when you are young which subjects you will study. In England, you make the decisions a lot later, okay? For GCSEs, I studied maths, English, science. I also studied Latin, I studied French, I studied geography, I studied history, and so there is a large range of subjects you can study. There is a lot of choice. My secondary school was only for boys. However, most schools in England are mixed with boys and girls. Here I have some pictures of what other schools are like, because my school is just for boys, and so that does not represent every student in the country. On the left, we have some pictures from a girls' school. So this is an example of a girls' uniform. So you still wear a tie and you wear a jumper. In the centre, you can see a boy and a girl who are wearing the same uniform. So this is from a mixed school with boys and girls. So boys wear blazers, but girls also wear blazers. They wear jackets, they wear ties. You can also see the sport that is done in secondary schools in England. On the bottom, you can see a hockey team, a netball team in the middle. And on the right, you have a cricket team in the white uniform, and in the top right corner, a rugby match, okay? So hockey and netball are two of the most important sports for girls in English schools, and rugby and cricket and obviously football for boys, okay? So these pictures show what other schools are like. So, a typical school day. I want you to try to fill in the gaps, okay? So there is a paragraph written there. There are some words which are missing. These words you can see on the right, so you have to put the words from the vocabulary into the spaces in the paragraph, okay? So use the vocabulary to fill in the gaps, to put the words where there are spaces. You have about 3 minutes. Okay, if you have not finished, just pause the video and continue. If you have finished, we will look at the answers now. So if you're not ready, stop the video, but now we will look at the answers. So, a typical school day. Fill the gaps. Answers. Normally, I wake up at 7 o'clock. I have breakfast, get dressed and pack my bag. I walk to school and arrive at 8:30. At 9 o'clock we have form period, except on a Monday when we have assembly in the hall. I have lessons until 11:30 and then we have a break. After this we have lessons until 1 o'clock when we stop for lunch. I go to the dining hall at lunch and eat with my friends. Lunch lasts 1 hour. We have 2 more lessons after lunch and finish at 3:30. I go home, do my homework and then relax before bed. And so the words you need to add are breakfast, pack, assembly, break, lunch, dining hall and homework. Make sure you have those words in the correct order. So a little bit about vocabulary, okay? So the phrase to pack my bag, okay? So this is what you do in the morning. You might put your books in the bag, you might pack a bottle of water, you might pack a pencil case, exercise books, textbooks, all of these things, maybe your phone, you will pack into your bag. So you will pack your bag in the morning. A form, okay? So a form is another word for a class. A class. So your classmates, your form, the people you have lessons with. The phrase form period is when the class meets before the first lesson for registration. This is a difference between English schools and Italian schools. In Italian schools, you start with your first lesson. In English schools, you meet in a room before your first lessons for registration, and then after 20 minutes, you go to your first lesson. Sometimes you have form period, other times you have assembly. And in English schools, you will have assembly once or twice a week. In assemblies, the whole year group, everyone in your year, goes to the assembly hall, and the head teacher, the director, the head teacher, will talk to you about something. We'll give you news, we'll give you messages, we'll give you instructions. So this is a meeting with everyone in your year. So you either have form period with your class before your first lesson, or you have an assembly with everyone in your year. Another thing particular to English schools as well is the dining hall. The dining hall, or sometimes called the canteen. The dining hall or the canteen. In English schools, normally you start at about 9 o'clock and you finish at about 3 o'clock. So it is necessary to have a place to eat at school. Some people bring food into school for lunch, but most people will eat lunch in the dining hall, where they provide food, you pay for food, and you eat in a big room together with your friends. So that is the dining hall / canteen. Next, we have college and sixth form, okay? And college and sixth form is between the ages of 16 and 18. So you start at 16 years old and you end at 18 years old. We'll look again at the vocabulary on the right. So we have A-levels. These are advanced level qualifications. So these are the exams that you take at the end of sixth form. Remember, you take GCSEs at the end of secondary school, but at the end of sixth form, you take A-levels. Normally, you take 3 or 4 A-levels. For GCSEs, you take about 10 GCSEs, 10 subjects, but for A-levels, you take about 4. We have the word academic. So sixth form is more academic. So this is where you study subjects, okay? It's more about study. It's academic. Sixth form is academic. College is more vocational. Vocational. So you go to college to learn skills, to learn how to do things, to learn how to make things, okay? So whereas sixth form is academic, you study, college is more practical, it is vocational. We have the verb to specialise, okay? To specialise. And this is really important in college and in sixth form. I said in secondary school you do 10 GCSE exams, but A-level 3 or 4. So you do fewer subjects, you do less subjects. For A-levels, I studied French, I studied maths, I studied Latin, and I studied Greek. So I specialised, and so I concentrated on languages because that is what I liked. This was all my choice. Some of my friends specialised in business, some specialised in science. So you choose which subjects you really want to do. Another important part of sixth form is, of course, the Leavers Ball, or you may be more familiar with the word prom. Prom is more an American term. In England, we prefer to use the word ball, but the concept, the idea is the same. The prom, the ball, is a big celebration at the end of the year before you leave school. You can see some pictures of my Leavers Ball, of my prom. In the top left, you can see me and my one of my teachers with a few friends. And on the right, this is a group of my school friends. You can see we are dressed very elegantly, very smartly. We are wearing a black bow tie. This is a very important event in sixth form. So that is the Leavers Ball. The other picture you can see is a picture of a student at college. A student at college. You can see he is learning something more practical. He works with his hands, okay? This is the difference. This is something more vocational compared to sixth form, which is more academic. And then after sixth form, you might choose to go to university. So in England, it is compulsory, it is obligatory to be in education. It is obligatory to be in education until you are 18 years old. After 18 years old, it is a choice. I chose to go to university. I chose to study French and I chose to study Italian at university. Some of my friends went to university. Some of them didn't go to university. And so with the English school system, there is a lot of choice as to what you do. You can choose what you become in the future. And so that's it really. So left, we can talk a little bit about vocabulary. Okay, vocabulary. So you have seen in every slide so far a list of vocabulary. I have created 9 questions for you on the vocabulary we have looked at today. The first 3 questions, you have to reorder the words, the letters, change the letters to create an English word associated with school. Questions 4, 5 and 6 translate from Italian into English, and then definitions after that. So, what is something you wear around your neck? Where do you eat at school? And what do you call the director of the school? So again, a few minutes to look at these questions. Try to remember some of the words we have looked at today. Okay? 3 minutes, go. Okay, if you haven't finished, pause the video, stop the video. If you have finished, we'll look at the answers. So, number 1, blazer. Okay, blazer, remember the jacket that you wear to school as part of your school uniform. Number 2, playground. Playground, so where children play in primary school. Number 3, prom. So prom, the leavers ball, the event, the celebration at the end of the year when you leave school. Italian to English. So number 4, we have to specialise. So remember to specialise. You specialise in 6th form and in college. So you choose what you want to do. You study 10 GCSEs, but you only study 4 A levels. Okay, so you specialise. Number 5, registration. So if you remember, you register, you have registration during form period. So before the first lesson of the day. And number 6, assembly. So every school in England will have assemblies once or twice a week where the head teacher speaks to the pupils, to the students. Definition, something you wear around your neck, of course, is a tie. A lot of school uniforms have ties. Number 8, the dining hall. So where you eat in school, the dining hall or the canteen. And number 9, the director of the school, the person who organises everything, is the head teacher. Okay, so that is everything. I hope that you have learned something about school in England. Remember, I wrote my email address if you want to ask me any questions. But for now, thank you for listening, and speak to you soon. Thank you very much.